What's going on, people? Let's talk about the Royal Rumble 2024 edition, of course, and just a little bit we'll kind of bring up the last night's Raw too, because, they're related somewhat, the fallout situation, right? So either way, starting with, of course, Royal Rumble, right? Now, overall, not sure what I'll say over the next several minutes or whatever, but I'll give you the upfront how I feel about it. Overall, it was a pretty good show, right? It was entertaining. I had kind of thought about trying to go down there and see it in person because it seemed like the first one that'd be actually intriguing in a long time. Ultimately, I figured, like I often do, it's I could probably get a better experience at home and obviously significantly cheaper. So I'll just do that this time around because, it's cool being there, it is, but unless you're right up close, you kind of end up watching the screen a lot. So then you got to think about how much am I really paying just to basically watch TV somewhere else. That's just how I feel. But overall, it was a pretty solid show. But things started off, right? They started off with the Women's Royal Rumble, and that was first. So, well, that obviously something's first if that's how you start off the show. But either way, so I think it was number 2 or something. They brought in Naomi, which was not surprising. I don't think anybody was surprised by her showing up, right? I mean, I kind of forgot that was supposed to be happening, or that she was rumored, very strongly rumored, to be coming back. And if she was, that was obviously going to be when to do it, right? So it kind of made sense in my mind or whatever to just put her out there early on. It's hey, you guys all likely know this is happening. Here she is, right? But just so you have this little surprise now, imagine what other surprises we might have later, right? And they had some pretty decent ones, I mean, I did not see Jordan Grace coming. Maybe there was rumors about that too, but I didn't know it. I didn't know TNA and them were working together in any capacity. So that was pretty interesting, and I'm curious to see where it goes from there. Obviously, Jade Cargill popped up at some point, so there was that. It's pretty cool, right? I mean, I haven't seen her in a while. She didn't do a whole lot. She came in towards the end, right? I mean, I don't know if she's still not the greatest wrestler or whatever. That's always been the thing people talked about, and I kind of get it, but she also wasn't put in matches where she needed to progress as a wrestler either. So, I mean, who do you really blame there? I don't know. But it all comes down to what? She was in there, and Bianca Belair had a pretty good showing as well. I don't think she was one of the last 4 or whatever, but Liv Morgan was there, Jade, and then Bayley, right? And seeing Bayley towards the end, I was this could be something to see, right? I didn't think it would happen because it just seemed like she just kind of gets forgotten about in some ways nowadays. So when I saw Liv Morgan come out, I'm oh God, is it going to be her, right? That's kind of how I felt. I used to be a big fan of Liv Morgan when she was hanging out with the Riot Squad, thought she was cool then. Then somewhere she shifted, and I was now I feel like you're just trying to force me to like whatever persona this is. So all in all, right, when she was looking like she was potentially going to win, I was not thrilled about it. Then Bayley did, and I was yes, this is something that I want to see. So very cool, right? And then after that match was the 4-way match. AJ Styles, LA Knight, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't watch it, right? It was on TV. I think that's when I was splitting my attention more in the other direction because I had Collision playing at the same time. It's a Roman Reigns match. You know how it's going to end. I felt like the match was probably going to be good, right? They've got enough people in there that it shouldn't be a pretty fine match. It should be put together well and executed well. I don't doubt that. But I was not interested in that because, again, you know how it's going to end. It's just wonder who's going to get pinned, but you know who's going to do the pinning. It's just how that works. So I was not interested in it and have nothing to say about it because I didn't watch it. And then after that, what came after that? That would be the Logan Paul and Kevin Owens. I had to think there's one other normal match. Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, right? That was fine. I had no problems with it. I expected it to be good, but not great, right? Because I've seen both of them in some pretty solid matchups or whatever, but I just didn't see this being a show stealer of any kind. At least not on this particular card anyways. But overall, no complaints about it. I thought it went over fine. I think the ending was pretty cool with Kevin Owens hitting dude with the brass knuckles or whatever, and then He's doing like a pin where it can still be seen. A lot of guys will put it back in the tights or whatever. You know, he didn't do that. He was too caught up in the moment. You know, I get it. It happens. We've all been there, right? Maybe not exactly there, but you know what I'm saying. And so that happened. He gets the pin. Then the ref says, "Oh no, I can't count this. You're disqualified. Got the things on, right?" The other dudes came out at some point. You know, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. You know, they did their thing or whatever because they're kind of aligned with him. So all in all, pretty decent match. I don't know where it's gonna go from there. If there will be another rematch or whatever, because it is the season where they do a lot of rematches, right? So I'm feeling like we probably haven't seen that play out in its final form. And then we have the men's Royal Rumble match, right? Now that was obviously like the thing a lot of people wanted to see, because like I said earlier in this, there were a handful of people that looked like they could win, right? Like on paper, and just going by how things have been on TV lately, it's like, oh, like it could be Drew McIntyre. Like nobody would be too surprised if it happened. It could be CM Punk. It could be Cody. It could even somehow be Gunther. Gunther? I'm not sure how to pronounce that exactly, right? So there were some names out there, and you're like, well, this could go a couple different ways. And of course, you also wonder, like, well, who's going to be in there that maybe will come out of nowhere, and they'll be like, oh, well, this is a wild card here. Because I think I saw a thing saying Brock Lesnar was potentially going to be in it, so that would have been one, right? But I mean, you throw Andrade in there, it's like, well, that's cool to see him come back, right? I kind of had lost interest in him over in AEW land. He came out with little fanfare, like very little. I think he didn't even have music on his first match, or on his first entrance, and then just kind of like dipped down from there. And he kind of started to seem like he might be going somewhere with that whole Lana thing, and then that was just like abrupt stop. So I was like, well, okay, so much for that. So he came back over here, and people, oh my God, he's been gone for 3 years. It's like, that's not even that long, really, you know? They're making it sound like he was like hugely missed, and I just don't think he was. But hopefully, now that things are shifting around a little bit, maybe he'll be able to come off a little better this time around. But I still didn't see him being a winner potentially of the Royal Rumble. Just, hey, check it out, we got this guy. It'd be no different than if they brought in Hurricane Helms or something. You go, oh wow, that's cool. Let's see what he's gonna do. Is he gonna be around for a while, right? You don't know. So that, and who else was in there? I'm trying to think who else might have come back, but off the top of my head, it's all a bit of a blur, right? Because I'm a little older now. It was late at night. You know, I'm like trying to go to sleep, you know, but I also want to see how this plays out. So we'll just skip to how it played out, right? Now, obviously, I've mentioned many times that I'm a CM Punk fan, have been for a long, long while. More on that at some point. So I wanted him to win. Did he win? Obviously he didn't. We all know that, right? It was Cody Rhodes. He eliminated him, right? Though, what's his name? CM Punk had eliminated Drew McIntyre, so there was that whole thing. And so at first, you know, when it happened, I was like, well, this was the most likely of outcomes. I don't think anybody would doubt that, right? Because they've really been pushing this Cody thing and the whole like, oh my God, could he be a back-to-back winner? Like, I feel like you're basically letting me know that he's going to be a back-to-back winner, right? Because I didn't really think much about it at the time. I was just like, oh man, I hope CM Punk wins so he can go main event WrestleMania. And then after the whole thing happened, people were, oh, well, you know, he could still go on and win like Elimination Chamber maybe. He still got a second chance. And I was like, oh yeah, that does make sense. So this is fine, right? And since Cody called out the whole Roman Reigns thing, he's like, okay, good. You go on over there, you do that, right? Hopefully, Seth Rollins and CM Punk still happens somehow, and that's what I want to see. Fast forward to Monday night, and CM Punk starts the show off, comes out there, talks about all his stuff about how, you know, the injury happened, and all that, and there are other people out there who are like dealing with real problems, and they're like real heroes and stuff, and he's kind of just like a guy that entertains people. It was a pretty good promo, if you will, right? So cool. Then Drew McIntyre came out there and they had their thing. So that could go somewhere later, eventually, in however many months it takes him to get better. And then later on in the night, Cody comes out there. He's like, yeah, I did it. 2-time winner. Woohoo. Who saw that coming, huh? Everybody? Yeah, I thought so. Or whatever it was he said. And then Seth Rollins like, oh, I think you should fight me because like this is the real championship. You know, everybody's fighting for this one. And I mean, kind of, but obviously it would mean more in the story of things if he was to go and knock off the big beast at the top of the hill or whatever that saying is, you know, because that's Roman Reigns. Like, oh, he's had the title for 3 years or something. Like, wow, you know, it's got old like a long time ago, honestly. So I would rather see Cody and Roman Reigns, because I've seen enough Cody and Rollins with Rollins losing. I've seen some of that in person. I've seen like 2 or 3 of those in person, as a matter of fact. It's crazy, right? The WrestleMania one and a couple Raws or something. I'm done with that. I would like him to just go and do whatever he's going to do with Roman Reigns. If he wins, he wins. If he loses, he loses. Doesn't matter. Just do it over there. Leave Seth Rollins to have a match with someone else that I would like to see that could possibly go either way and be more entertaining and be a little bit newer. So that's how I'm feeling. But all in all, and there was other stuff on Raw, but none of it really mattered, right? So that's kind of how I'm feeling about the Royal Rumble. Thought it was a pretty good time, right? I'm curious to see how things go. Unfortunately, there's going to be some changes or whatever, but they've got some time to pull something together. Though I will say right now, I was considering, because Philadelphia is a short drive from Virginia, I was considering going up for WrestleMania, but CM Punk out of the picture, I think I'll just be kind of sitting right here and watching it on TV. So there is that. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I got to talk about some more things and then talk about some more things. So that's kind of what I do here. Later, people.